and individuals, Mac Richardson, and then 1/3 is collectively owned now by Roy Richardson, Hilda Weddington, David Richardson, and Anna Evans. These property owners, at some point after the 2013 renewal, it's somewhat convoluted, but they acquired the property and then they continued the covenant. But it was just continued within that 10-year covenant period. So they do not meet the first requirement, which is that they have to have been a property owner that renewed the covenant. Because a renewal covenant and a continued covenant are defined terms under the statute and they mean different things. A renewal covenant is when a 10-year covenant period has expired and that owner renews it. A continued covenant is when during that 10-year period, the property is sold or subsequently acquired and that new owner continues it. So because the applicants did not renew and keep it in for 3 years, I'm recommending that.
So that's really the first approval period.
For them, yes. But they just continued because they had just inherited it within the past 10 years. And I also actually confirmed this with the Department of Regulation because I know I had the attorney for the Richardson, who was Mr. Fowler, and I had gone back and forth with him. And I'm like, the statute's very clear that the applicant has to be the same owner that renewed. You can't inherit the property and then get this waiver of penalty because that is not the intent.
Oh, then I motion for denial on this property as noted.
Make motion that we approve the denial for property as noted here.
Second.
With the motion second, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you, Meredith.
Next time, you get this, I'm doing this. Ownership policy. So I'm taking that.
This we spoke about, I think it was 2 meetings, just updating certain policies regarding the homestead exemption, addressing how applications may be accepted, the documents that should be submitted with each, and the date by which properly filed applications must be received, how to address missing documents, and also how to address return notice assessments where there are homestead exemptions. First, with respect to submitting the homestead exemption, we wanted to submit to the board. It's a written application that has to be done by April 1st. We wanted to, they can be filed in person or online, but I do know that it was recommended that you adopt a policy because I do believe some have been mailed in. So expressly providing that they can be mailed in and adopting a policy that they may do that. The statute does not expressly exclude or say that they can't be mailed in, so if we want to formally adopt a policy, we can do that. So this policy is reflected in here. We also want to know by April 1st by the BOA, and it also must be postmarked by April 1st. And we're expressly stating that the Board of Assessors will not accept metered or kiosk postmarks as proof of timely mailing. Because some meters, businesses have meters, they keep, unfortunately, human error. They might meter it and it doesn't go into the mail for 2 more weeks. So it has to be, they're going to mail it postmarked by April 1st. That is also reflected on the second page, just formally adopting that they have to be postmarked and not metered. We have also reviewed on page 2 the documents that need to be submitted. It's an application showing that they own and reside at property, They also have to show proof that all owned and leased vehicles are registered in the county where they claim homestead exemption. These also must indicate whether they are a U.S. citizen or a qualified alien or non-immigrant under the Federal Immigration and Nationality Act. That's pursuant to OCGA 50-36-1. And they have to submit documentation to prove that. And we also, although not required by statute, the board has required applicants to submit 2 copies of utility bills in the applicant's name with the address showing the subject property if the applicant does not have a vehicle in their name, just to show for proof of their residence for verification. So we're expressly adopting a policy that these documents must be submitted with a homestead exemption application. We also discussed that if an application is received by the BOA or postmarked by April 1st of the qualifying year, but some of the supporting documents are missing, we are adopting a policy that the BOA will send a written letter to the applicant at the address informing them that the documents are missing and that they're required to submit them on or before April 1st or the 30th day from the date of the letter, whichever date is later. And the reason for that is because April 1st is the deadline. So if you receive that application by April 1st and it's just missing a few documents, we will still consider it. But I know Lauren has run into issues where applicants were missing documents and they were coming in 9 months later with documents saying, we want our so we have a policy that if an applicant is reviewed in January, they would have till April 1st, but if an application comes in April 1st, whenever Lauren reviews it and then sends the letter out, they would just have 30 days from the date of that letter. And again, any documents that are sent back to her must be received by the 30th day or postmarked by the 30th day. It states that in this policy. And the last item is that we discussed homestead exemptions will be removed from the property when an annual notice of assessment is returned. So if a notice of assessment is sent to a property is undeliverable or person not found at this address, similar language is returned, they will then send out another letter to the homeowner saying the homestead exemption is going to be removed unless you show us proof that you own the property within 30 days from the date of the letter. And again, it has to be postmarked by that date. You have any questions?
I would entertain the motion to approve this policy with no.
Okay.
Good motion, second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Okay, thank you. Budget.
We have to clarify this. In the past, we've asked for 2 different, right. These requirements are just on what? Oh, 3, I'm sorry, page 3. Is that just, I got confused on it, is it just 2 that they have to submit, or is it all the bullet points they have to submit?
They have to submit all of the bullet points. Yes. Because it's going through, you're talking about the completed homestead exemption application, the proof of residency, which is the Georgia driver's license, or the identification card showing residence, copy of motor vehicle.
What are they pointing to read it?
Copy of motor vehicle registration for all vehicles showing registered in Douglas County at subject property, or 2 utility bills in the applicant's name with the site address and mailing address that is the same as the subject property for which homestead is requested if the applicant does not have a vehicle in their name.
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, morning again, it's almost.
I apologize, I was late in chat.
That wasn't you, we started on time.
Okay.
Like this. Okay, I have basically one update, I just want the board to know that, after our presentation to the Department of Audit and Accounts, we got an updated, sales ratio report, and I am afraid to say that, it's not favorable results. We went from a sales ratio of 36.11 to a new ratio of 36.32. So it was a very small movement. The Paulding County Chief Appraiser is further appealing this because he has similar results, and he's going to arbitration today, and he has invited me to attend the arbitration. So I am going to attend the arbitration and see what it's like. So we may also opt to do arbitration, or we can accept this point of notice that we cannot do further. It's still dependent on the court of commission. They can continue to arbitration on our behalf. Yeah. So that's all I have to report today. It's basically with the staff. We have additional staff started today. Not this month, it started this week, and there's one coming next week. So we are ramping up to full staff complement. We have only one outstanding vacancy as we speak.
Steve, if we do decide to pursue arbitration, we should see lead time for.
We have 15 days in which to do so, and this letter came in October 12th.
Is the board maker aware of the result?
Yeah, it was mailed to them. It actually goes to Mr. Miller. You were happy that they do that.
Letter of responsibility.
It's actually, they put it in my hands, even though they are, so I need to go to them again. Yeah.
And how long do they have to turn it around once we request?
I think they have 15 days. I'm not quite sure at the last decision, but the quote me.
It was actually on the sleeve.
I mean, the schedule agreement, it's crazy. So what we,
Poor Bob, okay?
so many,
We got him all this stuff.
November the first is, make 2 weeks from now. Friends. Can we call on?
Yes, sir.
That wouldn't be, even the 31st Halloween, I'm okay with that, or if you can. November 2nd, 13th.
I thought you said the second, the first.
November the 2nd?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Till then, November the 2nd.
That's the third.
Yeah, that's the 3rd.
Okay.
There's no further business, other than move to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn today's meeting.
Which is secondly, further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Hi, Chris. We're in the offices. Okay.
We're in big power.
Legally.
I think we got a couple things to say.
One, thank you, sir.